Now here we go again with Diddy. But this is truly one of those stories that just gets crazier the more you hear. So this week, the long-awaited criminal trial for Diddy has officially entered the courtroom. And I know that the whole Diddy situation online has become a bit of a meme, but after listening to some of these testimonies on the first couple of days, this is rapidly turning into one of the most disturbing celebrity trials in recent history, in recent memory. Cassie Ventura, Diddy's ex-girlfriend and one of the trial's key witnesses, took to the stand today and said that she was forced into bizarre, days-long freak-offs with complete strangers, while Diddy allegedly filmed all of it and then used that footage to blackmail her. I mean, this is starting to feel like the Jeffrey Epstein trial that we never got. She claimed that he had controlled her entire life, from her money to where she lived, all while physically abusing her and threatening her if she stepped out of line. And the thing is that that's just Cassie, one person. The US government isn't trying to prosecute him for domestic violence. They are trying to prosecute him for sex trafficking and racketeering, meaning that Cassie represents just the beginning. So today we're going to be breaking down what's been happening so far, what allegations and testimonies are being made, and of course, what is still to come. So this is officially the beginning of one of the craziest trials I think we're going to see in a while. So subscribe to the channel to honor all of the sacrificial lambs that have reminded you to subscribe. And let's just stop the yapping and let's get cracking! Okay, so before we get into all of the gritty details, let's just lay down the basics so Alex isn't confused. Because I hear, Alex, you got a few questions about this video. Lay them on me! Who's taken the stand so far, you ask? Cassie Ventura is the first major witness. She's dated Diddy for over 10 years, and she's been testifying about everything from blackmail to abuse to baby oil. There has been a ridiculous amount of talk about baby oil. We'll get into it, but it's what the
corn casserole.
On deck are some other witnesses too, people from like Diddy's inner circle, like assistants and staff who might help fill in the gaps. And there's a lot more of this, but we'll get into it. Next question that Alex has. Diddy is facing serious federal charges. To name a few: racketeering conspiracy, think organized crime vibes, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and even transporting people for prostitution. And keep in mind, while the government is questioning witnesses, they are trying to convince the jury that Diddy didn't just act alone. It was a criminal enterprise. They allege that he built a system to carry out these crimes, like all over Hollywood. Think like Jeffrey Epstein, but like the celebrity version. Other questions Alex probably has is no, there is no cameras, unfortunately. That's why you're seeing Alex's AI or sketches. And remember, Alex, he has gray hair now. You better factor that into your artistic creations. Anyway, now that Alex is all caught up, well done, Alex. You're here with us. Sorry, Alex. Here's what's been happening. Cassie turned up heavily pregnant and she was wearing a dress that really showed it too. Now, Diddy's defendants actually didn't really want this, and they spoke to the court beforehand because they thought that, the jury would kind of be empathizing with her if she turns up pregnant and, wearing a tight dress. Anyway, point is, they took an L right off the bat. Now, I'm not going to go through everything she spoke about, frankly, partly because I don't want to. Some of this, I don't even think I can say on here, and consider that your warning, because some of the stuff we'll go through is very graphic to the point where I don't even want to read it. But prosecutors questioned Cassie a lot about these freak-offs that she had with Diddy. She described them as some of the most dehumanizing and traumatizing parts of her relationship with him. According to her testimony, these events were highly orchestrated you-know-what sessions, and they also involved strangers, like hired escorts, male escorts. Diddy would allegedly set them up and order them to do certain things. I mean, we've kind of heard these things before, but now it's in the record. And she also accused him of recording everything that, so when they raided his place, they must have had, I don't even know how many video files. She said that the longest single freak-off lasted 4 days. She said that these sessions became like a job, like leaving her dehydrated, exhausted, and needing time to recover. Okay, this is the wild part. She detailed how Diddy would instruct the other male escorts to urinate on her. Okay. I'm just gonna have to read this word for word, this next part. Prosecutor: what would happen after the escort finished on you? Cassie: Sean would want it put on his body in the next room. Prosecutor, did you do that? Cassie, I did. Prosecutor, where? Cassie, usually on his nipples. This is what I signed up for in life. Bro, this is just rough speaking about. Imagine living through this, and this is Hollywood, man. What the flip? Now, I'm just gonna say that's the most I can manage. But I do think it's important to include in there because it gives you an idea of how bizarre things are in this courtroom right now with a case like this. I mean, another example, they had an over 10-minute argument in court with all of these professionals about baby oil. Like, so much to the point where the judge had to stop and sidebar everyone. They heard how Diddy would tell Cassie to get into an inflatable pool filled with baby oil with her clothes on and then slide along the What the hell, man? I can't even say this stuff. And that they would go through 10 bottles, the big bottles of baby oil at every freak-off. When asked by prosecutors why she would put up with all of this, she said stuff like if she refused or did anything to upset him, Diddy not only had enough compromising footage to ruin her career, but also that, frankly, she was terrified of him. She said that she would wake up in the morning and never know which version she would get. She said some mornings he was calm, but others, the slightest wrong face could result in him hitting her in the face. Probably one of the most horrifying details in her testimony was she described being stomped on the head when she was already on the ground. And now obviously we've probably already all seen the footage of, when they were in that hotel, that incident that happened in 2016 but was released recently. That gives you an idea. Now, here's another crazy part about this whole situation. Some of the reporters who were actually let into the courtroom for this trial, they said that Diddy's defense has admitted to, him beating Cassie, to domestic violence, to assault, etc. He did it. But they're saying that's not what he's charged for. Bro, imagine that. Where things are so bad, where you're kind of like, yeah, well, let's just admit to some of the most horrendous things because it's not as bad as what you're actually being accused of. That's like a dark hole. But it is true. Remember, the US government is trying to find him guilty of sex trafficking, racketeering, not domestic violence. But then again, at the same time, remember, this is just day 2. The prosecution is likely, through things like talking about the baby oil and the freak-offs, laying down the groundwork to establish a pattern of control or abuse. And then that can be further supported by additional witnesses talking about different areas. And I guess that's the perfect segue to the last question. What is to come? Well, firstly, most legal experts are saying that this kind of case, how high profile it is, it's gonna last for several weeks. And probably because of how connected he was with some of the biggest celebrities in the world, will include a lot of big names in certain testimonies. So yeah, if you wake up one morning and all of the headlines read some big name and there's some huge controversy around it, well, it's probably because of the Diddy trial. And honestly, it feels like there's a little bit of a reckoning against the entertainment industry, Hollywood in particular right now. Because think, just in the past few years, we've had people like R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein, the Me Too movement, even the Nickelodeon documentary Quiet on Set. They're all kind of revealing things that happened many, many years ago, but we're only being held accountable for now. And one of the craziest parts is that Diddy, compared to those, what he's being accused of is actually quite a big leap beyond what we've seen prior. So yeah, this is truly going to be a pretty wild case, and even in just 2 days, it's probably stranger and crazier than I thought. But either way, we're going to be talking about this a lot in the days to come, so I'll keep you guys updated. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a video, and I'll see ya very soon. Woo! Or coercion, cohesion, coercion, 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 coerced, coercion, I don't know.